In this video, I'm going to show you how to use a SafeNet hardware key to generate a concurrent license file containing licenses based off that hardware key. The license file we will generate can then be imported in the Intergraph License Administration application on this machine so that it can fulfill requests for licenses from applications on this machine or from applications on remote machines who have included this machine as a remote license server. I'm running this on Windows 8 and have pinned the applications that we will be using in the demo to the taskbar. So the first thing I'm going to do is start the Intergraph License Administration application. If you have User Account Control or UAC enabled, you may be presented with a prompt asking to allow the application to make modifications to the computer. If so, just hit yes. We first need to install the driver for the USB hardware key. So go to the Server menu, click Server, and License Host ID. As you can see, the dialog reports that we do not have a driver installed. Click the Install Driver hyperlink. This will start the Sentinel system driver installer that was installed on the computer with the Intergraph licensing setup. We will install this taking the defaults. Click Finish when it is done. You will now see that the Intergraph License Host ID application has detected that the USB driver has been installed. So I'm going to close out of this application and insert the USB key. And wait a brief moment for the driver to install. And we will do the same command that we did before, which is server license host ID. And you'll now see that the USB hardware key has been recognized and its ID is displayed here in the vendor-defined hardware ID field. So now we need to go to the Intergraph SG&I licensing webpage by clicking the Request License hyperlink. If your license administrator has given you a license authentication code or LAC, you should enter it here. Click the Login button. On this page, you should click the Generate Licenses and select the row that supports a concurrent license model for the application you're interested in. I'm going to be licensing Imagine Essentials and I want a concurrent model, so I will click that and click the Generate button. On this page, you can simply click Next. Click the Add New Host button, and from the list of available server hosts, select Vendor Defined. Now switch back to the Intergraph License Host ID application and select the Copy button to the right of the Vendor Defined Hardware ID. This will copy this key onto the clipboard. We are done with this application after hitting Copy, so now I'm going to hit Close. On the Create License Host page, I'm going to paste the contents of my clipboard and hit OK. Here I will select the vendor-defined host ID that we just created, or just added, and hit Next. Here I will enter a fulfill count and click Verify, and it reports that the license is valid. So at this point I will hit Next and then Generate. Here I will click the row for the licenses that we just created and hit Save to File. It's now asking me to save the generated license file to my computer, so I'll hit Save As and select a folder of my choosing. And you can rename this file as well if you like. And then click Save. At this point, we have the license file on our machine. We do not need the web page anymore. We can return back to the Intergraph License Administration tool and click File, Import License File, and browse to the location where we saved the license file. Select it and hit Open. At this point, the local license server is being created and populated with the licenses that were in the license file.